like to quickly talk about the show, The Inventor Challenge, where for the past 9 weeks, we have seen people from various backgrounds, age, culture come on the platform and present ideas that has the potential to offer solutions to some everyday problems that we see around us. You know what they say, right? Like necessity is the mother of all inventions. And we truly believe that each of us has that power to make that idea become a reality. And who better to guide us and do that than two of our most loved panelists on the show, Mr. Dhruv Bhasin and Dhruv Madhok. So today, both our panelists would be talking to us about the power of an idea, how can one nurture it, and how can one make it become a reality, just like they have guided so many others on the show on their journey from having an idea and having it on paper and then making a prototype out of it.
It's an absolute pleasure and an honor to be, here today, speaking to all of you. And I hope that even if one thing from today would be of value to you, I think we would have done justice to this session. A very immediate problem that both of us faced. So the story started when I was attending one of Madhok's post-wedding functions. And at one of his function, at that function, he came up to me. He said, "Bhasin, you use so much hair gel in your hair. Is your hair, how come your hair isn't whitening or falling out, or how come you're not having any trouble with your hair because you use it every single time I see you?" So I told him, I said, "Look, I actually don't use any, standard market products. My mother makes this homemade recipe made of flaxseed, and I use that, so I can actually use this as much as I want whenever I want." So he was pretty, happy to hear that, because he either didn't use hair product or he used very little, because hair products and styling products always tend to be the usual suspects when it comes to hair fall and any other such problems. That's why I think most of us tend to use it very little or not at all. And he told me, "Send me over a sample. I want to try it." So I sent over a sample the next day. He tried it immediately. Madhok is the kind of guy who actions very quickly. So that same day he tried it, he called me up and he said, "Bhasin, we have to start selling this." Having a safe styling alternative to what was available in the market at that point of time didn't exist. And we knew that both of us faced this problem for sure. And we knew that our clothes, at that point, the hypothesis was a hairstyling product for men specifically. So we knew that all of our guy friends at that point in time had that problem as well. And we knew that we were onto something. And the key part over here was that we actioned on it very quickly. So just to add to that, I think the most important part is, don't hold back, don't deprive the world of seeing what your idea or your invention is. I think it's the biggest disservice you can do to yourself or to anyone else, in the world.
Inventor Challenge as a show also is all about bringing an idea come to life. It is the platform that big idea deserves, as we call it. And I'd like to know from you guys about what was about the show that kind of made you want to be a part of it. What do you like the most about the show, and what do you see that the show has as a potential for young budding inventors who are also sitting amongst us today?
Sure. So I can take a quick stab
Go
at
for
it.
it, Madhok, yeah.
So for me, I was most excited about the show because of the concept, the nature, because, we've seen shows where there are, where people with established businesses come and, present their idea or present their business. But what was really, there's always a big drop off between people who have an idea and who end up actually starting a business. So what I loved most about this show was there are going to be so many more people who would have potentially dropped off and not actually made progress with their idea had we not, given them a platform to take their idea forward. So just, understand and just having access and, being a part of, all these new ideas and inventions that are rampant across the country, giving them a platform and meeting the inventors. I think personally for me, that was most exciting. And why I wanted to be a part of the show was because I feel like Bhasin and I are constantly, not only with our own business, but always looking at, a variety of products, anything and everything that we experience in our life, whether it's a product or a service. We're always wondering, how can we make it better, or how can we improve it? How can we make it, cheaper, faster, better, stronger, more sustainable? So I feel like there's a lot of learnings that have happened over the last, few years, and between the work experience and and the entrepreneurship experience that we have. So we, I at least I wanted to pay that forward and be to be able to add value and give guidance to somebody who's just about starting out. So to kind of pay it forward, in a way. So those are the two aspects that that were particularly exciting for me.
Yeah, I
And
think
Vasim, what about you?
yeah, I think for me, so doubling down on what Madhok said, that we've seen so many formats where it's very business oriented. There's a profit motive, there's investment, there's scaling. It's a for profit model, whether it's whoever the show or the investors or even the investees are. This was a very interesting concept, bringing forward the inventors across the country. This didn't have a profit angle to it. As you saw on the show, there were so many inventions and ideas that were there for the betterment of society. So it was very interesting to be able to use this platform to back inventors, some who could be taking this into a business and profit, and some who were also looking at how can I how can I make society better? How can I make India better? How can I make a certain sub segment of the population, like we had with the visually impaired? How can we make typing easier for them? So I think, like doubling down, like Madhok said, so the format itself was unique. So that was very interesting to us. And I think the second part was also that we have no background in television or anything associated with that. So this was a great opportunity for us to experience something brand new. And wow, what an experience it was.
So, any key moments from the show that you guys recall, or were your favorites, or you found the most challenging as a part of the show? Uh, when you view it again now.
So I think Madhok is muted. Uh,
Just a second.
Aparna, it's okay if you deliberately did that. I don't blame
No,
you.
I did. Madhok,
Uh,
you can talk
I
now.
try to do that in real
Awesome.
life all the time, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's far more elegant on Zoom because Bhasin doesn't actually use his hand and cover my mouth, but he does that in all in all meetings with customers, with investors. So, but sorry, what were you saying, Aparna?
No, so I was just asking you guys about, what was probably the key moment from the show that you guys remember the most, or you enjoyed the most, rather, or you felt was quite exciting. And also equally the one that was probably most challenging when you look back now and you've seen yourselves on the show and you've seen the entire episodes pan out. So anything that you guys want to talk about?
So I think the most challenging for me during the show was here to actually envision an idea that was very very abstract, which obviously got solved a little bit later once the inventors went to the lab stage and actually made a prototype. Because when you're hearing somebody and they're so full of ideas and they have a few minutes to just explain everything that they've been working on in their entire life, they give you so much information in such a condensed fashion that it's a bit hard to kind of like decrypt all at once. But like
Right.
I said, it's great to see the prototype because it really it's literally going from paper to prototype and helps you visualize it a lot more. But there's one particular visual that I have that's really stuck with me from the show. When you see a prototype and you imagine how it'll be used, it's one thing, but when you actually see somebody using it, it's a completely different experience. So in the show there's a section called the consumer panel, where
Hmm.
it's not just the panel, that it's not the mentors or the panelists who are evaluating an invention. It's actually a set of consumers who are most likely to use that product, actually try and use it.
Speaking of the inventors and the inventions, we have two of our really young inventors who kind of were shining on one of the episodes. And one of them, I think, also happened to win that episode. So let me quickly get Ayush Jain and Prateek Dalvi on board. Ayush and Prateek are both, to set some context, both in college or about to finish college, and took on this entire journey of their paper to prototype. I'd like to talk a little bit with you guys about how, because the entire forum right now is filled with a lot of college grads who are at the same stage as you in their lives. So how did uh, you manage with studies? What steps did you take to actually realize, okay, fine, this idea has the potential to make it, and what are the steps you took to kind of venture into, making this a reality?
And how many people came to you for autographs and selfies after the show?
Oh yeah, you should you should tell us that for sure.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having us here. And it is a great feeling to be back with Dhruv and Aparna and in front of so many people, college grads just like me and Pratik. So it is usually a little difficult to while you are in college to manage a lot of things together. And I too did not take for that same reason my invention or my product very seriously first at the first time. I had a idea and I just casually put it on the Inventor Challenge forum, and I did not think that from between thousands of ideas and inventions, my idea in particular would be selected. But I thought let's just give it a shot. What's the big deal? And when I after I applied to it, and then I got a call back from the show. Then that is when I realized that, oh yeah, if they selected my product, my idea among thousands of different ideas, it means that there is some potential to it. There is something that they can see it in it. There's something that needs to be further developed. So that is when I started working on it.
Coming back, guys, Dhruv, I mean, we've spoken about the importance of, let's say, balancing work and balancing, your studies at the same time for people who are trying to venture into, uh, real world, so to say, after college. But what do you think are, probably the core competencies, or, the skill sets that one has to build to be able to, nurture their idea and take it to the next level? When do they know that they, okay, fine, this is where I need to take a step back and reevaluate, or where do they know that, okay, fine, this is something that I should really push myself to pursue?
So I would give one simple advice, the simple litmus test, to understand whether, your idea has any merit. One is it should solve a specific problem, and then understand who it's going to potentially be solving that problem for. And contrary to what most people say, where a lot of people say that, don't talk to many people about your idea, keep it locked away in a closet, otherwise somebody will take the idea and run away and become a millionaire, and you'll be left feeling sorry for yourself. I'm a big believer in actually talking to as many people as possible about your idea. So talk to as many people as possible about your particular invention, product, service. Understand whether they see value in it, understand whether they how they can further improve it. Nobody will run away with your idea, because starting a product or creating a product from 0 to 1 is a lot of hard work and effort, and you and your idea are essentially married to one another. Nobody will feel as passionately about your idea as you.
Before we move on to the next question, I just want to thank Ayush. Thank you, Ayush. Any last piece of word that you want to give to all the fellow college grads out there who are also, at the same juncture as you are, and are planning to think big and planning to do some wonderful things in life?
The last thing I would like to tell all the college students like myself here is that we should not like just like we discussed a while back. We should not restrict ourselves to anything. Go out there. We are just they all are college grads. I'm guessing we all are around 20 or something, and it's a long life ahead of us. And we should keep trying new things, keep exploring, keep experimenting. We never know when we hit the when we come across the next big thing, which might turn to become our passion. And so there'll be a lot of problems, a lot of challenges, but we should continuously be persistent and persevere and put in the hard work, and we'll definitely get the results that we want. Yeah, thank you.
A lot of people have this on their minds, and I want to ask this question. Two people running this company, I'm sure there are difference of opinions, um, but you guys share the same vision for the company. So how does one work? Because everybody works in a eventually would work in a community, in a group, with a lot of peers. How do we combat that and move ahead with the vision that we have?
I think one of the most important things is Bhasin and I are always we're always looking on how to improve ourselves and asking each other for feedback. And we're only able to do that successfully is by keeping our ego at the door. We don't let ego creep into the relationship. It's not about being right. It's about learning and getting the job done. So I feel that's been very, very important. We constantly debate, we discuss, we ideate, we argue, we have heated discussions, but that's great because ultimately only the best outcome would come as a result of those debates and those conversations. It's never a personal attack. It's never like you were wrong and this company is not doing well because of you, or I was right, that's why this company is doing well. When we make a decision, it's a joint decision. We've convinced each other, but then once we've made it, it's our decision and we stand by it. So we have equal, enough to, equally to gain and to lose from it. So in summary, it's simply by keeping your ego at the door. A lot easier said than done. But I feel like that's one of the biggest recipes for for success in any partnership. Not sure if Bhasin's here. I think Bhasin must have jumped off after he heard, that I said that I'm going to give him some feedback on how to improve.
I can hear you. I can hear you guys though. If you can hear me, I can hear and see
Yes,
everyone.
yes. Now it's fine. Now it's fine. Please go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, I was going to say, I think as far as differences of opinion are concerned, I think that we encourage that. Between the two of us, we don't have to follow the same narrative or the same wavelength or the same thought process. That is what keeps us continuously thinking, continuously on a journey of self-improvement. Now, the important part that we always manage is to ensure that ego is always out of the room. It's not on the table. So I'm assuming from the smiles that Madhok probably said that as well. But it's really important, and it's a very, very difficult element of any kind of human relationship, and being business partners that much more so. I think we always eventually put our cases forward, and then most times we let the data decide if it's something that's quantifiable. And if it's not, I think we always keep room for a little bit of give and take.
We'll quickly open the forum for questions. But thank you so much, Dhruv. I think, those are some really sound advices that I think all of us could benefit from.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hey, Pradita.
Hello. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask, since entrepreneurship is you do not know what might happen, right?
Mhm.
Things might just go your wish, or things might just go south. So how
Correct.
can one, let go of the fear of what if things go south, of what if I might just lose out on whatever I've achieved till now? Because entrepreneurship requires your heart and soul, and you need to put your everything in. Then only you can expect some or maybe the minimal reward. Right. So
Right.
letting go of the opportunity cost, as I'm like an econ major. So how do you
Right.
tackle that? And you guys must have went through that entire process of juggling
Absolutely.
and experiencing. So what's your take and insights on that?
Right.
I think,
Go for it.
I can take an initial stab at this. So I actually, this is one of my favorite lines to Madhok. It's what if, but it's a very different what if. My counter to that would be is that what if you're 60, 65, 70 years old, a large part of your life is complete, and you look back at that point and say, what if? What if all those ideas you had, all that potential that existed, the opportunities that existed, you didn't at least try? At least try. That's the point at which you should think, what if? What if I had done those things? And then that then could loosely also be connected to regret at later point in your life, that I had those opportunities and I didn't take advantage of them.
And it's very normal to fear the unknown. But one fun activity you can do is actually write down your what ifs. What if I start up and it fails? Then you'll get a job, right? And then what if I fail at that job? You'll get another job. You'll realize that there'll never be a situation where it's life and death.
Thank you so much, Bhasin and Madhok, and Ayush,
Our
Prateek, for
pleasure.
joining us. And everybody over here who've taken some time off. And even though, we've been watching the show and we're coming towards the finale, so we are going to be airing the Inventor Challenges final episode this Saturday. So make sure you guys tune in and to see our last set of inventors invent something that, actually has a potential to change the world.